Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Coach Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks land one of the most impressive recruits in the 2024 class, offensive tackle Kam Pringle, 6'7", 340 pounds. You see why this guy is a top 100 national recruit, one of the best offensive tackles in the whole entire country. And we're going to get into what this means for this South Carolina program and kind of the future outlook under Coach Beamer. Before we do, though, just want to say thank you to you guys. South Carolina's been one of our favorite teams to talk about. Coach Beamer and the South Carolina media, social media team has really gotten the boys into this program. But if you're a South Carolina fan, you have to just be absolutely thrilled with the direction this program is going and talk a lot about the fans. You guys have been absolutely awesome. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. The support you guys have shown truly means a lot. The growth of the channel has been absolutely awesome. And the reason we do this is to talk football with you guys, and we really do appreciate it. Let's get into Kam Pringle. Check out a little bit of his film and highlights, but most importantly, talk about what this means to the program. So Kam Pringle, we obviously see what teams love about this dude. 6'7", 340. You can't teach that size. You can't teach that length. One of the things I like most about him, though, two things. One, plays basketball too and does track and field. Like, when you look at a guy with the size that Kam Pringle has, like, you want him to have good feet. What does basketball teach you the most? To have those quick, good footworks. And that's what Kam Pringle has, and you'll see that when we take a look at his film. The second thing, you're going to see a nasty, nasty, nasty offensive tackle. That mentality, this dude is always looking to road grade and looking for work at the next level, and you're going to see that when he straps it on. And South Carolina, if there's one thing they've really struggled with, in my opinion, the last 2 years, it's been that offensive line. Earlier in the season in 2022, I mean, Spencer Rattler was running for his life. And they've had some guys who you felt good about. They just didn't really have a unit that kind of came together. Towards the end of the year, and it was no coincidence that South Carolina was playing their best football at the end of the year, it got better. But this is an offensive line that has struggled in the past, and they land a massive guy who will be a multi-year starter for the Gamecocks. Let's check out a little bit about what Kam Pringle brings. And again, this dude is very, very fun to watch. You take a look at what he brings, just an absolute road grader. You see him just running people off the football field. And that's kind of what I mean when I'm talking about, like, this dude looks for work. Big 77, putting people in the dirt, especially in the run game. Now, you know that he's going to be solid in pass protection because of that basketball background. But this guy comes off the ball extremely well, and it's kind of rare to see a guy that explosive be able to play with a low pad level and be that powerful off the line of scrimmage. Kam Pringle has that. And again, he's a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say development guy, because again, he's very, very good right now. But imagine what these offensive line coaches can do with a guy like Kam Pringle, because again, at the end of the day, you can't teach that frame. 6'7", 340 pounds as a junior, rising senior in high school. But most importantly, look at him out in space, keep those legs going. And again, the footwork is what kind of stands out. And then that mentality, like, he is looking to bury guys. He's looking to be very, very physical. And there you see in pass protection, the really, really good footwork. That is something that I think gets a little over or underlooked when you talk about offensive line recruits. Like, everyone likes to focus on length and size because that's what the NFL looks for, right? Are you big and do you have good length and long arms? Kam Pringle has the length and has the size, but I think what most importantly sets him apart is the footwork that he shows. And again, probably a result of being a former basketball player. A lot to like about Kam Pringle. Now I kind of want to get to what we're looking at with South Carolina. First thing I want to touch on, you look at South Carolina and what they need to do to be contenders in the SEC and kind of get back to what they were doing. They got to recruit the state of South Carolina. You take a look at what they're doing. They land Kam Pringle, who's the number 3 recruit according to 24/7 Sports from the state of South Carolina, but they're in really good positions to land multiple guys in the state of South Carolina. Josiah Thompson from Dillon, South Carolina, also kind of crystal ball to go to South Carolina. Mazeo Bennett, the wide receiver, crystal ball to go to South Carolina. This 5 years ago, this didn't look like that for South Carolina. I mean, Clemson has the last couple of years really been recruiting that state really well. When you look at flipping the tides, and the tides seem to be turning, South Carolina, the Gamecocks, need to start recruiting the home state better. And in this 2024 class, it looks like they are doing so. Second thing I want to talk about with this 2024 class, and we're going to pull up what they have. They only have one commit in the 2024 class, but it is kind of their quarterback. And I think that when you talk about building a class, it's a heck of a lot easier when you land a quarterback early in the process. So then he can start recruiting some wide receivers, recruiting some offensive tackles to come play with him. Dante Reno from Connecticut, he's a guy that is a riser in the 2024 class, and I would expect him to kind of help build this class, taking the recruiting pictures with the wide receivers and the offensive linemen. You saw Kam Pringle, I believe, take a picture with them during his visit to South Carolina. Having that quarterback, as a Michigan fan, I remember when we landed J.J. McCarthy, the 5-star quarterback. He was our best recruiter. Yeah, coaches do recruiting, but the athletes also do recruiting as well. And Dante Reno, landing him early, hopefully can help bring some more talent to South Carolina. And again, take a look at what South Carolina is doing. They haven't always had the biggest issue recruiting. It's been about the culture, and it's been about developing players. Really hard to argue that that isn't going in the right direction for South Carolina. And you look, yeah, you had a few transfers, like some head-scratching transfers out of the program, Marshawn Lloyd being one. Shane Beamer brings a different culture for South Carolina. And a lot of those guys who were leaving the program weren't recruited by Shane Beamer. I think this program is going to even get more and more impressive as Shane Beamer gets his guys who are buying into his brand of football into the program. That's where I think this program can kind of take that next step. Once all these players are Coach Beamer's guys who believe in his vision, who believe in his culture and his style of playing ball, that's where I think the true value of Coach Beamer comes into play. And we're starting to see that as he gets more full cycles recruiting out of high school and grabbing some guys out of the transfer portal. You look at South Carolina in 2023, if they can land a guy like Nichols Harbor as well, and you look at how well Shane Beamer's used tight ends, like that's a destination spot for a tight end like Nichols Harbor. And he might not even play tight end. He might play edge, but he's a guy that you can't teach what he has. I mean, Olympic level track speed at 6'5", 220 pounds, truly a special athlete. Like this program is starting to get some of these big names taking visits to South Carolina, considering South Carolina. And you look at the team South Carolina beat out, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson, for Kam Pringle. South Carolina's getting hot on the recruiting trail. This program is clearly going in the right direction, and they land a massive guy in Kam Pringle at a position of need, in my opinion. This offensive line has struggled. Kam Pringle will be a guy that helps this program get that offensive line back on track. Again, wanted to keep this one short, but this one is a big, not only for the player, but where this program is going as a whole. Appreciate you guys checking us out again. Going to be talking a lot of South Carolina ball in the summer, so if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing. Spencer Ladler, Juice Wells, we're going to get very excited to see what this South Carolina program brings in 2023, but the future, because Coach Beamer is just getting started there for the Gamecocks. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.